Hey tribe, it's Risha here on WAC, and this episode goes out to our WAC warrior Ashutosh Potnis. Thank you so much for giving me this episode, and you can also be a warrior. All you gotta do is email me on this email address with your topic and what you want to include in that episode. Now, I know that when I did this episode, a lot of you turned around and told me that it's not fair to compare India to Scandinavia. Yes, I totally do understand that, especially when it comes to our populations, which by the way, I also did explore in this episode, so you can check that out once you finished watching this episode. But more importantly, what we also need to understand is that Scandinavian countries had colonized America, Africa, England, Scotland, and even parts of Asia, which means that they were able to plunder all these countries' natural resources. At the same time, they were also not actively involved in the World War. India, on the other hand, was dealing with wars, famines, and let's not forget the British Empire in 1947. Germany, Japan, England, most of them were completely devastated and brought to the ground because of the World War, while Scandinavian countries were pretty much not affected. So basically, if this was a 100-meter race, then Scandinavia would have had an 80-meter lead when compared to India. And that's why, knowing all of this, I still think Scandinavia is a pretty cool place. And here's why. So today on WAC, what I want to do is I want to explore whether Scandinavia truly is that perfect place, or is the grass just greener on the other side. What I've done is that I have given a whole lot of rankings compared to India, just because I wanted to give some kind of context, and of course most of my audience is from here. Scandinavia, home of the Vikings, tall and friendly blondes, with some of the most beautiful scenic places, and the Northern Lights is in Nordic Europe. The Scandinavian countries, they are some of the richest countries in the world with the highest standard of living. They have been voted as one of the happiest places to live in the world several times, because after all, they have very high employment rates, low income inequality, low poverty, and the highest life expectancy. So basically, they just sound utopian. They have one of the most transparent and least corrupt governments in the world. The kind of government that has a friendly relation with pretty much everyone. Their education system, it's supposed to be one of the best in the world. And they have this perfect work and life balance, the kind of balance that has been imposed on people by the state. The average work week in Sweden, it doesn't exceed more than 40 hours. And the Swedes, they just went and introduced a 6-week paid vacation that you can take. And their paternity leave, let's not even go there. It's this much, and that too fully paid for. Why would they not be one of the happiest places to live in? Scandinavian countries are some of the most eco-friendly countries in the world. So then, of course, they would be among the cleanest in the world. In fact, they're so good at recycling that they had to actually go and import trash from other countries. So after making it to the top list of this, that, and pretty much everything in the world, what's the catch? Well, one of the biggest aspects that their government is criticized for is the kind of control that they have on the everyday lives of their citizens. In fact, this is as big government does get. Citizens of these countries have to pay taxes of these kind of rates. 45 to 56% of one's income, that's a lot of one's hard-earned money that they agree to give to the government in tax. So why is it that they agree to do that? Well, that's because the government really does look after them. The Scandinavian welfare programs, they are one of the best in the world. So basically, you're paying all these high taxes so that you can enjoy a superior and a high quality of life. But there are some people who do disagree, and Sweden has seen a lot of its billionaires leave. In fact, recently, there's also been a lot of brain drain where educated young professionals are leaving the country for places where they don't have to pay such high taxes. Try and get a car in any of these Scandinavian countries and it is close to impossible. And a license? Let's not even get there on how difficult their driving tests are. An influx of immigrants, an aging population, these are also some of the cons that their government has to deal with. But would this idyllic Nordic model government really work here in India? I'd love to hear from each and every one of you in the comments section below. Let everyone in the tribe know what you think about it. However, what I do know is that if our population did land up paying their taxes like they are supposed to, then our government would land up with so much more money that they could spend. Money that they would hopefully land up spending on you and me. But this model, perhaps it would not really work well in India, especially where the income differences are so high. And after all, the core principle of this Nordic model is to treat everyone equally and in exactly the same way. It requires a lot of cooperation, discipline, and more importantly, trust in the government. So to end on a slightly more romantic note, I've written a little something on Scandinavian countries and their way of life, but I've used these beautiful words which are literally untranslatable.
The Scandinavian countries have so much arbetsgod, where one has time for hörkota, trätar, huage, a place where one experiences forlisket.
So that's it from me on WAC today. Of course, you know how it is. I love hearing from each and every one of you. And there's all my social media handles that you can reach out on. There's Freesia, there's Freesia B, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. And don't forget the PO Box number as well. I'll catch you guys again very, very soon. If you want to be a WAC warrior, this email ID with your entire idea and script, mail it to me. Ciao.